Game of Thrones fans, earlier this week, HBO President of Programming Casey Bloys admitted that the network is having early, nothing-set-in-stone talks about a potential Game of Thrones prequel series. This absolutely should happen. I know that Westworld is crushing it in the ratings, so HBO has life beyond Game of Thrones, but Game of Thrones is still HBO's most popular series of all time. If you were a network executive, wouldn't you want to wring every single dollar you could out of this project? From a fan's perspective, I really only have one response to this news. Game of Thrones offers TV fans amazing writing, great acting, beautiful character drama, and just spectacular scenery. And outside of The Purge becoming a reality, which might happen under Donald Trump anyway, where are you gonna get this kind of action on TV? In the face! In the face! So since a Game of Thrones prequel might happen, here are 3 possibilities for what the show might cover. Warning, it's about to get real nerdy real quick. This is my favorite choice and the most obvious of the 3 for a prequel series because it would directly lead into the events of Game of Thrones. Robert's Rebellion took place roughly 20 years before the pilot of Thrones, and it really follows the fall of the Targaryen dynasty. Setting a prequel series in this time would be cool because it would allow viewers to see how many of their favorite characters got to where they are when the main series picks up. Not only that, but it would introduce us to a young Ned Stark, a young Robert Baratheon, a young Han Solo, the whole gang. But the real prize here would be Rhaegar Targaryen, older brother of Daenerys. By all accounts, this guy was the Tom Brady of the Seven Kingdoms. He was a renowned warrior, a beloved prince, and he was respected by both the powerful and the small folk alike. He was the man, basically, and he'd make an awesome character for a prequel series to build around. The Dance of the Dragons was a bloody civil war that broke out between the Targaryens roughly 200 years before the events of the main show. This war was largely credited with the death of dragons and, by extension, all of magic in Westeros, so we can see how the implications carried over from this event to where we are now. Why would this be a cool story to tell? Well, imagine the original Independence Day movie, except instead of aliens, there's an army of fucking fire-breathing dragons! That's awesome, and we're not just talking a few, like in Game of Thrones now, we're talking an entire horde of them. Nerdy, but cool. So Aegon's conquest takes place roughly 1,000 years ago in the kind of Game of Thrones timeline, and it follows Aegon's the First's invasion of Westeros and the conquering of the Seven Kingdoms. Except for Dorne, because Dorne was way too much of a badass to be conquered. Now, the reason this is cool is because it would just be a straight-up, no-holds-barred war movie set in TV. Yeah, there would be a little weirdness because Aegon was married to both of his sisters, but, you know, Game of Thrones has kind of desensitized us to incest. A lot like how Nickelback has desensitized us to terrible music. HBO should absolutely move forward with the Game of Thrones series once the main show is concluded in 2 years. As a fan, a world without Game of Thrones TV just pisses me off. Like how listening to Eminem just makes you irrationally angry.
Let up, better not let them breathe. Last shot, give it all you got. Try to turn me down, bitch, get fucked with a volume knob. Fuck all you snobs.
Do you agree with my suggestions for a Game of Thrones prequel show? Do you have some of your own? Do you just generally think I'm a moron? Let me know in the comments section below and subscribe for more videos.